1 in 70 million people have my condition. I have an ultra-rare condition called Loeys-Dietz syndrome. Many of my organs have now either not formed properly or have started shutting down. The average life expectancy for somebody with my condition is 36 years old. It could happen tomorrow, it could happen in 5-6 years, and it will happen out of the blue. I think I've given up on the prospect of everything is going to be fine. So my alarm goes off at 6:45 in the morning, every single morning, which tells me that my blood infusion has finished. I have an ultra-rare condition called Loeys-Dietz syndrome, or LDS for short. It causes a lot of pain, chronic pain. It makes me incredibly tired, and also I'm incredibly susceptible to various different illnesses. Many of my organs have now either not formed properly or have started shutting down. So I had a Hickman line fitted 4 years ago now. So it goes in through your chest, up into your jugular, and then down into your aorta. So it's like a permanent cannula. My body wasn't able to push food through my intestinal system properly. So I haven't had anything to eat or drink in about 4 years now. So what I'm disconnecting from is called TPN, which is total parental nutrition. So everything I need to survive, food, water, calories, nutrients, vitamins, is in these bags. You can feel it going in a little bit through your system. You kind of feel that pressure coming through, but it's not painful at all. Obviously, it's an open line into your heart, so I have to be incredibly sterile, make sure that my house is always incredibly clean, because it can be something as small as a piece of dust that gets in there, which could be fatal. So whenever I'm out, I have to set various alarms. I haven't had a lie-in in about 4 years because I have to get up at the same time every single day. I feel incredibly frustrated because I'm in my young 20s and there's so many things that I can't do in my life that I wish I could do, and I don't have the energy to do anymore. So when doctors are talking to me about progression, it's very, very difficult for them to do. Because the condition is so rare, it's about 1 in every 70 million people that have it. The one definite that I do know is an aortic dissection is what's going to kill me, which is where, very unpleasantly, your aorta detaches itself from your heart. It could happen tomorrow, it could happen in 5-6 years, it could happen, I don't know, and it will happen out of the blue. I've had to become quite inventive about making sure that I don't perceive my life as difficult. It will always be difficult, but I just kind of have to lie to myself and say, yes, this is difficult, but we've still got to find a way to do things and crack on. So when I leave the house, I need to make sure that I have emergency supplies with me. My blood sugar monitor, my blood pressure monitor, and then I always set my alarm before I leave, so I'm always back in time to make sure that I can do my infusion on time. Both me and my brother inherited LDS from my dad.
Hello, darling.
Hello. Even though my dad's symptoms are very different from mine, kind of the problem ages seem to be very similar to him, of where he really, really struggled in his life.
Look what I found the other day, darling, when I was having a clear up in the cupboard. You were 2.
Were my alarm bells going when she was born? Absolutely not, no. She was big, chubby-cheeked, and everything else. No, there was no hint whatsoever in the early years as to what was to come.
It was when she went through the geneticist that she got the diagnosis, but before that, we were just always down the doctors or at the hospital.
I was always sick and I was always hurting myself.
Those were probably the first signs, weren't they?
The hard bit, I think, for Mum and I was really knowing all along. We suspected from a very early stage that her life was going to be different.
My dad and I have spoken a little bit about how he feels about the fact that I inherited it from him, and I know that he feels guilty. I think he finds it quite difficult sometimes to even look at me, because I think he finds it quite emotional, because I think sometimes he thinks it's his fault, but it's not his fault at all.
I am the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
That's the problem. I know exactly where it's come from. We try and we joke about it and saying that I am the gift that keeps on giving, but that is like sort of nervous laughter. I really...
Yeah, you find it difficult, don't you?
I find it difficult, very, very difficult indeed, yeah.
My mum has coped brilliantly. Externally, she has been, incredible, but I know on the inside, it must be incredibly draining and also incredibly painful to see the people she loves suffering so much. And she doesn't let that show, and I think that's such a massive strength in itself.
Our way of dealing with the darker times is to turn them into more light-hearted moments if we can. And, of course, dare I say it, there's another member of the family with James. I mean, you're married now, you've got a husband. So, that has changed the dynamic a bit.
I met my husband when actually we both lived in London. He was incredible when I first mentioned my condition. Traditionally, the response that I get is, oh my God, okay. And then people panic. He was very calm about the whole thing and very, oh, okay, what is that? Talk to me about it, tell me about it. I can't imagine what it's like for James constantly thinking about what am I going to do in such early life if my wife passes away. I think as a couple we're just finding our rhythm, and this is just the way it is. We're not going to try and change it because we can't try and change it, so let's just get on with it.
All you want for your children is to be happy. So for me, the fact that she found James makes me feel a lot better about it.
I think I've given up on the prospect of everything is going to be fine. Like one day they'll find a way to fix me, one day I'll eat something again, one day. I think for me it's just about, this is the situation, find a way to be comfortable with it and actually use it to my advantage in a way. Like the job I'm doing now, I wouldn't be doing that if it wasn't for this situation. So actually, in a way, I do have something to be grateful for. I'm a founder and investor and I'm a policy advocate. So I work with government to change legislation to make it more accessible and inclusive for disabled people. If 1 in 4 people are disabled, why are we not talking about this more regularly?
What I marvel at is the achievements. What she has achieved and what she can do and does do really is quite astonishing under the circumstances.
I don't want to kind of reach the end of my life and think, oh, it wasn't really worth it, was it? It was so painful and it was so awful. But I also hope to kind of leave, even if it's a little mark on the world, to say, I was here and I hope I made a difference.
I'm always proud of her. She's amazing. She gets up every day and she gets on with it.
The fact that we're sitting here talking about her is her greatest achievement.
Oh,
What was that?
That's my alarm.
What?
It's time to go home.
Right, I know. I get it.
Bye. I want people to take away from my story kindness and empathy towards other people. Chronic pain and chronic fatigue for your entire life takes its toll on you. We need to make sure that we are profiling rare diseases. One of the reasons that they're rare is because people don't know about them. I wish that people had a little bit more proactiveness to go out there and kind of educate themselves on things like this, because you might be able to help a friend or a family member, or even if you're in the medical profession, you may save a life. Can you imagine doing this every day? If you do meet somebody that has a rare condition and they are, voluntarily speaking about it, ask questions, be insightful, be respectful and be kind.